because in the early days, in the 80s and 90s, they were like, earplugs? We don't issue that shit.
Just put your fingers in your ears. Remember when they just give you foamies?
They would tell you, when the shit hits the fan and you got to do this shit for real, your ears are going to turn off anyways.
Yeah, weren't people saying that? You need to train with no ear pro because if you have to shoot invaders in the house, like you're not going to have time for ear pro.
They used to actually really say that shit.
I remember shooting a 30-06 bolt gun with no ear pro. I remember shooting that HK91 all the time with no ear pro.
Do you not keep amplified hearing protection?
It didn't exist. What are you talking about?
Now, do you not keep it?
Oh, I have it now.
Of course, because it's a.
No, I don't keep it by my bed.
It's an advantage, so you can.
If you break into my house, we're both gonna hear because I'm not putting ear pro on. I hope that's why you leave. I hope you're like, oh shit, I don't want to get tinnitus, bro. I'm out.
It's about to get really loud.
It's gonna get. I mean, that's probably what I'll open with. You know, when people say rack the action of your shotgun, I'll probably open with, "You're about to get some serious tinnitus, bro."
Oh shit! All right, guys, this is Patreon. We are recording on November. What date is this?
Episode 72.
It either says 13, 18, or 19.
13.
It's November 13th. Well, when I enlarge all the text, it doesn't enlarge the top bar there. Patreon questions, guys. What's up? All right, first question. That's Lyric Supreme right there. He will be here performing December 7th with Little White and a lot of other stuff going on. Make sure you come out to the party. It is soeparty.com where you can get all your information. We do have a VIP package, and those are selling out quickly. So
Does it cost money to get in?
No, everything's free. It doesn't cost money to be a vendor. It doesn't cost anything other than the VIP package.
Can you just walk in off the street?
Yes. Yep.
Who are you hiring for security?
We have security.
Oh, okay.
What was that?
It's me.
You're the security? Uh-huh. You're not the security.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're the security on this door.
Will they have shirts on that say security?
Yeah, real security dudes.
I'm gonna break my old security shirt then.
We only hired big black guys for security.
Let's make sure make sure ours are big letters though, way like big, yeah, way bigger.
Around.
The girl that came in here that fucking came in late, left early, fucking didn't show up. Showed up 2 hours late the next day. Her shirt said security.
Nice. She'll be here. She'll be here.
No,
giving
she will not be
giving
here.
people directions and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just park over there in the field across the street.
Yep. All right, first question here. Brawl Dog says, Scully, what was the thing or environment that the military failed most at preparing you for? Antarctica.
I mean, they never prepared us for Antarctica. Never.
The ice wall.
The ice wall. Nobody's prepared. Nobody's truly prepared to see the ice wall. I don't know if there was an environment that they didn't. Because in the Marine Corps, let's see, back in the old days, because everybody's like, that's some old school shit. The Marine Corps they never prepared you for the environment. They would just be like, okay, we're gonna go to the jungle, and then the next week you'd be fucking standing in the jungle with prickly heat going, what the fuck, it's hot here. And then they'd be like, hey, guess what, we're gonna be in 29 Palms next weekend. You'd be chilling at Camp Pendleton in your 75 degree weather going, oh, it's so nice here. And then they take you up to 29 Palms and be like, 125, get to training, bitches. Like, there was never, like, when people talk about climatization, I don't ever believe that I ever went anywhere where the climate was drastically different than before we came, where they're like, go ahead and take 2 weeks to get used to the climate. They're just like,
well, that's what they say. Like,
bitches train. What the fuck?
I see that about like all the pro football teams. They take them, like the San Diego Chargers. They take them up to Big Bear for Charger camp for 3 weeks so that they're at elevation. So when they come down, it's easier to play or whatever. What about your first space jump? How'd they prepare you for that?
They just kick you out.
They just kick you out.
Yeah, they don't. There's no. It's not like the regular services where they actually train you for the tasks that they're asking. The Marine Corps is just like, here's your shit, guy. Get out there.
Which war did we first have airborne in?
World War II.
Never before that?
No.
Do you think that?
I mean, they dabbled at the end of and post World War I, But real airborne troops wasn't until World War II.
Do you think there were any troops that were just like? Do you think they all went to jump school, or do you think there was
Oh,
like
the first
the first few
motherfuckers-
dudes are just like hook this cable right here?
Even in World War II, the first motherfuckers, they got their asses whooped. Like there's videos. So, like the premier guys, really the guys that were on the cutting edge at the time would have been either the Germans and a little bit of the Russians. But you can watch videos of the Russians jumping out of planes. Those motherfuckers are climbing out on the wings and shit and just letting go, and they're doing all kinds of crazy shit that I when they used to talk about casualties in the fucking airborne, I am sure most of it was drop zone. Like the guys are just and the parachutes that the Russian uses, it looked like they made those motherfuckers at home. So they did some crazy shit back then, and then even if you think about, go ahead and watch some videos of airborne training during the war. Some of the shit they did just to jump out of the airplane was like, no wonder everybody was fucked up. Like they would put dudes in trucks and drive down the road at 35 miles an hour and be like, jump off. And you'd have to
for training.
you'd have to fucking jump off the truck and shit and do a PLF. They did all kinds of crazy shit. Like, you know, there's these famous towers that am I going to say this wrong? Is it Benning or Bragg? God, it's been so long, guys. Sorry. But there's these famous jump towers that you always heard the SEALs climbing up and putting fucking bullshit on there. Those things have been closed down forever. They used to drop dudes from those things. They used to hoist them up there and be like, airborne. I mean, they did all
parachute.
No, they had parachutes. Yeah, because it's 200 and I believe those towers are 225 feet or 250 feet.
Well, wouldn't that be pretty safe if you had a parachute up there?
This is World War II, man. Those guys are jumping. They're jumping fucking
burlap sacks.
Yeah,
and
they're
shit.
jumping. They're jumping some. You know, those guys were fucking tough. That's for damn sure. They were. If you were fucking in the 82nd Airborne or the fucking 101st Airborne, you were legit.
I remember seeing old video like coming back. It had to be World War I probably. They're bringing back the old biplanes and shit, and they're just these guys come back to normal day life, and they're farmers, right? So they just plow down a strip out in the cornfield, and they're flying before the FAA existed.
Yeah, before the FAA
and they're
existed.
flying their planes and shit. But you know, little Timmy next door, like, you want to fly the plane, little Timmy? Like, he didn't have any official
No.
flight training or anything.
No, you could.
The good old days.
The good old days. when
The
you
zoo was a lot more fun when you might get mauled by an animal.
or be able to ride an ostrich.
Side saddle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean-
The zoo was much more fun when you could interact with the wildlife. Think about it. I mean,
Yeah,
What
I think you would have had to have a more
as long as it's not you that's mauled and it's
I
some
hel-
guy that was there while you were there.
like a healthier respect. You'd have to have a healthy respect for the
Well,
animals.
It's
for
the
sure.
warning labels.
Yeah.
It's
The-
the fucking warning labels.
Did you see the recently some dumb had to have been a liberal too. Some dumb broad jumped in the polar bear exhibit and was swimming in the polar bear.
Naked, fully naked.
I don't know if she was fully naked because they're just like, I can't believe nobody tried to save her because there's all these pictures and videos of it, and then the polar bear is like, because she jumps in the water and the polar bear is he's right on the side of standing on the rock like,
Smells
And
like
then
a
the-
fish.
and then the next thing the polar bear's in the water with his hand on her head, and they're like, I wonder why nobody saved.
Did the polar bear drown her, or did he bite her in half, or what happened?
I don't know. I am sure that she is very dead. But
Do you
why,
think-
why would you? Here's the thing.
Do you think anybody went to
If
recover
you-
her, or do you think the polar bear just had his way with her?
The polar bear had its way with her, and then once they were able to get the polar bear away, I'm sure they recovered her body,
I wonder how they got the polar bear away.
probably with a Coca-Cola. Everybody knows that polar bears are attracted to Coca-Colas. So, but again, here's the thing: if you're running through the zoo and you trip and do a flippy flip and end up in the tiger enclosure,
Well, everybody knows. You just use cinnamon.
yeah, if
They
you trip,
hate pepper.
if you trip and end up in the tiger enclosure,
If I get in the tiger enclosure, you call Mike Tyson.
I do believe that there should be a concerted effort. There should be some sort of concerted effort to try and keep you from getting eaten by the tiger. If you climb up on the fucking
Come
rail,
on, man. They shot Harambe over the
Yeah,
fucking...
if-
And
if
he
you-
wasn't even hurting the kid.
if you climb up on a rail
Maybe they're a little gun shy because of Peanut the squirrel.
and jump into an animal enclosure, you don't deserve being rescued. Nobody should jump in there and help you. As a matter of fact, you get what you deserve.
I think that probably should be used for next year's promotion for the zoo.
Swim with the polar bear?
No, I mean, just that should be the zoo's ad campaign. That, hey, this dumb motherfucker got chewed up. I know you guys are going to want to come see this bear. Is that the bear?
They're all the memes I saw. People were like in the comments. People were like, talking shit about the polar bear. That blah blah blah. People were being dumb, right? They're just talking shit about the polar bear, and then one person put on their caption. Polar bear tries to save drowning woman.
Alanis Morissette. That's what I picture.
Hilarious.
I picture Alanis Morissette. Got a fucking polar bear. All right, next question.
Yes, next question.
Chris Hall says, Scully and John.
Yes.
What's the oldest piece of SOE gear you still use on a daily basis? John, do you cycle through your SOE gear and give old pieces away to family and friends, or keep the same core pieces for decades? What's your answer?
I mean, it's weird when somebody says, "What's the piece?" I mean, because the piece of gear that I would say I use the most is the small FUPA. What is the
FUPA, the fanny pack.
The small FUPA that's in the door of my truck right
Is
now.
yours one open all the way up and has Velcro on the walls inside? Or
Yes.
You have the FUPA.
I would say that's the piece of gear I use the most, just because.
That's funny. We were talking last night on the live feed about the Birdwatcher rig,
yeah,
and the history and how it became the FUPA. But prior to that, in Oceanside in 2000, when the SEALs got that Mark 23 Mod Zero pistol, the HK SOCOM pistol, we built 120 or 125 of those chest rigs for special boat units in the SEAL teams. And it's exactly almost like the FUPA right now. It just wasn't wearable as a fanny pack. It was only a chest pack.
So I would say that's the oldest piece of gear I use a lot. But the oldest piece of gear I have is that fucking modified patrol rig that you made me.
Yeah.
That's the oldest. I mean, I don't. The problem is all the gear that I got from John, all the SOE gear that I've gotten from John, has been like mission specific. Like I wasn't getting clothing bags, and
we didn't make clothes bags.
I wasn't getting things that wasn't mission specific, and I don't go on a lot of missions anymore. I keep trying to tell the Marine Corps to task me out, but I haven't got my orders, so I'm kind of stuck in limbo there. It's probably because of my hair. I bet if I cut my hair, they would be like.
So I don't have any old gear. When I came home from prison, I didn't get any of my stuff back, like none of it. So everything I have is 2005 or newer. And I have all the samples and stuff that I built to remember how to, I had to build something to give to sewing production so they could see how to build it. And I had to have a sample of it when I started hiring employees. So I spent a lot of time building gear in different stages of the build so they could kind of see sequencing on it. Probably the oldest piece of kit I have right now, maybe tool bag that I still use. I still have the very first tool bag. Although nowadays...
What color is it?
It's OD green and black. Nowadays I have so much kit available. When I need something, I just grab it and take this out of inventory, or usually I'll take it out of inventory, and as I'm walking out the door and we're going to Memphis or Nashville or something, I'll take this thing because I'm going to take photos of it while I'm out to make some social media posts. And then I end up just filling it up. Like we should really have a toolkit in each vehicle rather than having to remove them and move them around. So I just grabbed, some tool bags, and we put all the identical same tools and everything, and now they live in all the trucks.
If you're a game designer, if you design any type of games out there, you should really think about including the SOE compound in your game, because if it's a game where you have to fucking fight zombies, find supplies, live in Z World for 24 hours. Every car here has a fucking toolkit. There's food every. This is one of those bases that you want to find if you're doing any type of game like that. This is the base you want to find. It's like the gold standard of there's shit here.
Plus we have the portal. We have the Stargate.
You're gonna be like,
you
oh
could
my
Stargate
God.
into here.
You're gonna be like, oh my God, there's even fuel at this base. Oh Jesus.
It's got everything except aircraft. I mean,
Yeah.
you bring your own armament. Other than
Yeah,
that,
bring your own guns, but everything else will be here.
Stephen S. Oh, Micron's 556. He's on the live feed every night. What's up, buddy? Let's turn this brightness up. I have solo hiked the Buckeye Trail and both loops. Soloed North County Trail from Northwest Ohio to Central Vermont, and soloed the American Discovery Trail from Southern Ohio to Delaware Coast. You've done a lot of walking. I am going to start trekking west on the Discovery Trail. I don't know any of these trails. I know Pacific Coast Highway, Trans-American Trail, Appalachian Trail. Going to trail in 1 week spurts next year. Would you go Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, or Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri? Reference, and then he gives us the link. Buddy, I have no idea, man.
I say Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri.
It depends on weather, I guess.
There's the other thing. It depends on weather. But that first trail is pretty high, right? Indiana, Illinois. So we're getting into wintertime. I don't know. I think I would stick to the lowlands, Kentucky and Missouri.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Stephen S.
And
also.
there's no ticks this time of year, so it'd be a good time to cut through Missouri.
Yeah, you won't get alpha-gal.
Yeah.
End up allergic to
Red meat.
beef and protein. Stephen S. also says, my whole adult life, I have struggled to find people willing or even able to backpack, hike, or camp, much less prep. How do I find like-minded people, or how do I convince people to prep, if that's even possible? You got to go where they are, Stephen. People come to Self-Reliance Festival from all parts of the United States, and I use California because that's the furthest extreme from here. People come here every event, and even at the parties and such, but especially Self-Reliance Festival, because that's kind of the genre, right? Prepping, homestead type stuff. And they come here from San Diego and meet another person or couple from San Diego, and they're like, oh my God, did you just play my drums? Are we best friends? Are we going to do karate in the basement? Because they meet somebody that lives literally 10, 15, 20 minutes away from them, and they've both lived there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And they just didn't happen to be at Starbucks or Barnes & Noble at the same time. And they came here, and they're like, holy shit, you live 5 minutes from me. We should go mountain biking. We should hang out. Let's fucking go shooting on the weekend. Let's do whatever. And then you can build that relationship or that community from there. But the biggest thing is, distance communities. Like, I know there's dudes that think they have girlfriends that, they've never been in the same room with because they have this internet girlfriend. It's probably a dude. You're probably in for a surprise.
Maybe he's really nice.
It's just that distance, man. If you have a bug out location that's more than 4 hours away, but really, I mean, you saw it. Like, when I was living in San Diego, I had an apartment also in Santee. I paid for that apartment in Santee for a year. Went there like twice, like maintained and paid for all of the utilities and shit on a whole nother apartment, and never fucking went to the apartment. Nobody even lived there. I just had that motherfucker. It's like having a storage unit. And that's that thing, man. If you gotta be where those people are. And chances are, if you're keeping up with the fucking Joneses and you've got a Mercedes, brand new Mercedes, and you trade it in every 2 years, and if your house looks just like your neighbor's house on both sides, those people probably ain't into prepping. Like, it's just not sustainable. You got to go where they're at. Get out of the city a little bit. Like, if you want to find a chick that likes to rock climb, you should probably go rock climbing. Go to the indoor gym when it's raining, right? You're going to find some hard fucking chiseled up little girl that loves to do that shit. She probably mountain bikes, probably kayaks also, some shit like that. What do you think?
I say make yourself a YouTube channel.
That would help.
Make yourself a YouTube channel. Bring a camera with you. Start videotaping all the stuff you're doing, because guess what? The person that you're looking for is also on YouTube looking at, maybe they're thinking the same thing you are about which trail should I take, and then you're going to take your camera and you're going to film as you go down this trail, and whatever it is you're using, and that's going to draw attention to you in general. And in doing so, like-minded people who are, obviously you're going to have a lot of assholes on there. They're going to be like, you should have went the high route instead of the low route, and you're doing it wrong.
Here's the beauty of all those assholes. When you look, they've never have any evidence of them doing it.
So I say make a YouTube channel, because that will draw the people to you that you're looking for.
That's a good idea. A lot of times too, like, and I don't know that you're looking for a woman or you're looking for just friends or like-minded people, but a lot of times dudes do that. I'm going to do that Appalachian Trail. As soon as they get a girlfriend, they don't want to do the Appalachian Trail anymore. They're doing that shit because they're trying to come to peace with something. But you got to go where they're at, man. You got to go where they're at. And a lot of times that's those events, man. And it doesn't have to be an event here in Tennessee. There's homesteading events all over the place once you get out of the city a little bit. But I think Jeff's right, man. And if I was a dude, let's say Steven S. is a dude and he wants to have a chick that will, hike and mountain bike and do all that shit with him. Kind of spin your channel on, I'm going to find a girl that likes to do these things.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I'm starting a YouTube channel. And I'd put it out there. Hey, I'm going to do, 20 dates in the first, the next 90 days. I want to go on 20 dates and I'm building a YouTube channel and just see, fucking, who knows, man? See what happens from it. Also, Steven S.
He's very active.
Very prolific poster. Thank you for the content. My whole adult life, I've struggled to find, okay, we did that one. Will Trump, also him. With Trump winning, how do you suggest we as individuals to continue to support him and his policy changes? Well, the beauty of it is, I mean, maybe not, depending who you are, but it doesn't fucking matter whether we want him to or not. He's just going to do it. Build a business, man. Build your content, have evidence of it, whatever it is. I think everybody should have social media, even if it's not forward facing, if it's not public, have documentation of it, even if it's just for yourself so you can look back and see how you did it, how you progressed, what you would do different. So you have an actual diary for your children or your people in your future. But you can use that also. You'll get better at that. And then you can, because where I'm going with is start a business. You need a business, and all business advertising is social media now. So my point is, whether you like what he does or you don't, are you better off if you make more money? Are you better off if you are happy? Are you better off if you are fit? And I say document all of that because it holds you accountable. If I go, I'm getting up every night, I'm getting up every morning, instead of 4:30, I'm getting up at 4 from now on. And if I publicly say that, motherfuckers are going to be there right away when I don't fucking make a post at 4 a.m. in the morning. See, we caught you slipping. You didn't post till 4:30 this morning.
Yeah. All you can do is keep doing what you've been doing, and just remember that, he's fucking trying to do a lot of stuff, and
we just talked about this.
The reality is a lot of it's not going to get through. A lot of it's not going to make it. There's going to be a lot of things they're going to die on the vine. And again, we don't know what the world has, what tricks the world has up its sleeve. That can change his entire presidency. Like, we could have fucking COVID 2.0. Fauci could release the fucking monkeys he's got stored in his basement, and lo and behold, we're all fucked again.
They haven't caught any of those 43 monkeys?
There's only 13 left.
Would they kill them?
Well, no, they caught some, but there's.
So are you aware that
there's 13 on the loose?
Are you aware from the same facility 19 escaped last year?
Yeah, this facility is.
It's a breeding facility. It's not a biological.
This place is a shit show.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a shit show.
What else they got over there?
I think just those. Well, I don't know. I don't know for sure. Probably.
Where is this at?
It's in Florida.
South Carolina.
South Carolina?
South
is it?
Carolina.
Yeah, it is South Carolina.
Anybody? I want one of those monkeys. If you bring me one.
Please don't bring one of those monkeys here. They probably have Ebola.
No, they're just
they
breeding
probably
monkeys.
have Ebola.
Bring me a couple monkeys.
When here's the thing. When wild animals escape from a known biolab.
It's not a biolab. It's a breeding facility for a biolab.
No, it is still a biolab. When wild animals escape from any government facility.
Okay, if you have an escaped monkey from the zoo, bring me the monkey.
Any facility, and they say, don't you worry about it.
They also said lock your doors and windows and don't let it take your children.
Those monkeys got the shizzles. Like, anyways.
Is that like the shingles?
Kind of.
But only on the genitalia.
Only on the genitalia. So you'll get them all over your face. It's crazy.
Keep your face off the genitalia.
Keep your face off the genitalia.
Be more selective with
But there's
genitals.
only 13 left. So
13.
There's 13.
They killed them when they smoked them other ones.
Either that or
there was video of people like, here's the monkeys.
Yeah, a lot of people saw the monkeys.
A lot of people saw them.
Yeah.
Okay, bushcrafting Muslim. Another question, is this crazy or so crazy it just might work? I've seen heaps of videos where squirrels have stored nuts in hollow poles, etc., even man-made stuff. I believe humans can eat most things squirrels collect. Would it be viable to have a forest of nut-bearing trees and to fill it with PVC pipes and similar, and create a system where squirrels grab everything they can for you, and then maybe go kill half the squirrels once winter is right around the corner? This is coming from a place of pure ignorance. I've never even seen a squirrel. Where are you at, bushcrafting Muslim? Are you bushcrafting in like Dubai? They don't have mushrooms.
Yeah,
they don't have
squirrels there.
Squirrels there. But I had this idea a few months ago, and it makes me fucking smile and wonder.
What you do is you create a system. What you do is you see, because you're worried that winter's going to come around. The squirrels are going to eat all your.
It might be easier just to buy rice and beans.
You're worried that the winter's going to come and the squirrels are going to eat all your nuts. What you need to do is create a system to where your PVC pipe, where the squirrels are hiding the nuts in them, when a certain amount of nuts are in there,
Caps off.
It opens up into a bigger
Traps
cavity.
the squirrel.
It opens up to a bigger cavity, drops all those nuts in the bigger cavity, and then closes again. So the squirrel can't get to where the nuts are, and then you can go down there and get your little basket of nuts out and take them in the house and eat them.
Here's the other.
But then the other thing is that
Go ahead.
the squirrels might be better to eat in the wintertime than the nuts.
Yeah, okay, so squirrels put a lot of shit away, like acorns. You and I can't just eat acorns. There's tannin in there. You need to crush them up and put them in like a
make a
burlap
powder,
sack. And I think it's like 6 weeks you need to run them in running water to get the tannin out. If you take a bunch of acorns and put them in a 5-gallon bucket and fill it halfway with water, that water turns so dark that you can't see the acorns. That's the tannin leaching out. Same thing with oak leaves. If you want to attract squirrels, the best thing in the world to attract squirrels is black oil sunflower seed. Now, we have black oil sunflower seed. We did some tests last winter and winter before, where I fed through the winter. I have different pens of chickens, and I fed some of those pens nothing but black oil sunflower seed because I wanted to see if the egg production would drop or be any different. And it didn't. I fed some pens just corn, cracked corn, some whole corn, some black oil sunflower, some scratch, and then some layer pellet. And the egg production was higher on the layer pellet, but it was about across the board on the other stuff. But we had a bunch of black oil sunflower seeds out in where the grass is, and it sprouted up, and we grew a bunch. And that led me to plant 20 by 60 feet of black oil sunflower seeds. But anyways, that has nothing to do with what I'm telling you right now. So I don't know why I just went off. But black oil sunflower seeds are
get more squirrels.
They're the best things to attract squirrels. Just make a out of compressed expanded metal. Just make a tube and put them on the tree and wire them to the tree. The squirrels love these things. The birds love them, but you will attract a bunch of squirrels. When we bought this property, there was 0 squirrels here, and one showed up one day, we started feeding them, and now we actually have some squirrels. The dogs keep most of them at bay, which keep them from eating most of the fruit on the trees. But you'd be better off eating the squirrels. Now, they make a nest, and they kind of hibernate through the winter when all the leaves are off. So you can find those nests very easily. You can visibly identify them. Now, if you want to catch squirrels, one of the easiest way to catch squirrels is to take a rat trap and just put it on a tree. You can literally wire it to a tree, cable it, or just screw it with a drywall screw and peanut butter. And you will catch squirrels in any city park, any place there are squirrels. Rat traps catch them perfectly.
I'm going with eating the squirrels. I try to keep nuts out of my mouth.
There you go. John Paul Jones. That was a funny question.
Yeah, I love it.
John Paul Jones. Hey, Scully, if you could only have one rig, what would it be? Would you run Jungle Kit or LBV or what? Depends where you're going, I guess.
So
you're so Nucor. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's just so.
Give them the real answer.
The real answer is, I don't have to do that anymore. Like when people say, if you only had one thing. When I joined the Marine Corps, there was only one thing.
Okay, what if it's Red Dawn? You're held up in Waverly.
Okay,
they've sequestered. They got everybody on Court Square in a chain link fence.
You know what the truth is? The Russians are going to be like this. If it's Red Dawn, and the Russians are going to be like, every day they're going to be like, there's another motherfucker. and there's another month. They're going to be, you know how they do the deck of cards and they try to identify everybody? That's what they're going to be like, man, there's all these long hair motherfuckers up there, but they're all wearing different gear and carrying different guns. So it's got to be different people. I'm going to be like Prince. I'm going to be changing my shit. Like, I might change my shit 2 or 3 times a day. Like, you'll be like, weren't you just wearing tiger stripes? Yeah, but I feel like Marpat. I'm going to be changing my, it is going to be so situational dependent. And so when the time, I've said this before. If the Russians came overhead in parachutes, like dropping on the ground, they'd get me.
You're not going to shoot them in the air?
No, they're going to get me because I'm going to have the safe open. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be like, it's Russians. Maybe I get the AK-40. Oh, no, but I got the 5.4. I better grab the... You know what? Maybe the trusty... they'll get me. I'll be standing in front of the gun safe trying to pick out which gun I'm going to take. It'll be a soup sandwich,
What if you're 300 acres out in the field and you've just got whatever you got? What are you going to have?
I'm going to have an M4 carbine. Fucking 1911. Because you have to kill Russians with the 1911. That's
Singer Sewing or Remington typewriter?
Ithaca. Yep. Ithaca.
What else did Ithaca make other
Ithaca
than rifles?
Ithaca Musoc pistol made for me by a fucking Delta Ninja Ranger Army of Northern Virginia guy.
Got it. So modern day.
I mean, kind of modern day-ish, but still with a little...
Not World War II.
Little old... Because it doesn't have a rail on it, so I won't have a light, guys. So if you attack me at night...
So, like, when we go to war...
That pistol fire will just be...
When we go to war, like, Remington stopped making typewriters and made pistols, right?
Yeah.
What did Ithaca make other than guns? What did they used to make?
That's it. I think Ithaca was a gun company.
Union Switch and Signal. They made 1911s and shit.
They made 50 cals.
Did they?
Yeah. That used to be the funnest because the oldest guns in inventory. So when I
never knew this till Dwayne. Dwayne had all those pistols.
Yeah, he had all those pistols. But the oldest gun in inventory, the 1911s, when I got to SOTG, those 1911s were old. They'd actually, the way that program worked is initially they were taking World War II guns, sending them to Quantico, and then the fucking Quantico wizards would and turn them into Musoc guns. And then they started getting kits over the years, just put together guns. But those initial guns were World War II guns. That Ithaca, and that's the reason why I had my Ithaca gun converted to a Musoc gun, is because when I went to the course, I had an Ithaca World War II 1911 that they had turned into a Musoc gun that had 80,000 rounds through it. I'm like, make mine a Musoc.
They probably actually shot some dudes.
Probably, maybe. I would assume that any of the guns that the Marine Corps was repurposing were guns that never hit the street, that were, produced for the war but never hit the street. But it's possible. It's quite possible those guns were used in at least Vietnam, maybe Korea. I don't know where I was going with that, except the fact that that's what I did. Is I had an Ithaca gun, but I was going with the 50 cals. I used to love when I was with Weapons Company, when snipers were with Weapons Company, and they'd lay all the 50 cals out to go to the field. I used to love to walk down the line and look at all the manufacturer numbers or manufacturers on those guns. Now, if you see a 50 cal that has Sarco on it, that's a modern manufactured 50 cal. But you'd still see, wheel and die companies, Signal and Switch. There were still 50 cals all the way up. I mean, I'm sure that we still have 50 cals in inventory that are fucking legit World War II guns, which is fucking amazing. It's amazing when you think how long that gun has been in service.
There's not a lot to go wrong there.
Well, I mean, it's a high pressure round. Obviously the barrels get changed. You swap bullets and shit. But again, to think that riveted receiver has been in the system that long. I mean, it could have been that. When you take that 50 cal and you put it on top of your Humvee and you go driving out in the desert to shoot that rounds, that gun could have been. It could have been in a B-17. It could have been. It could have been on a fucking M4 Sherman. It could have been that gun. Like if we could ever figure out a way to make metal talk, I would really like to talk to those guns because those guns have been everywhere.
You think an M2 that was in a B-17 You think it just goes back to a mass armory? It doesn't kind of stay within.
No,
unit?
because when the war ended, we were pretty quick. The United States was pretty quick at tearing those aircraft up. So those aircraft, the B-17s, didn't last long after the war.
Why do you think that is?
Because the B-29 completely replaced it, made it obsolete, and so we had an era, at the end of the war at 45, probably even deep into the early part of the 1960s, where we were replacing aircraft at such a rapid rate that they killed them. They just killed them. Like, I mean, you went from the B-29 to the. I'm sure there was some after the B-29. There was a rear prop. I can't remember what it was. B-47 maybe, but there was all these prop planes that were still legit. And then when we hit jet, that fucking killed all those. And they just cut those bitches up. That's why there's like when you see when they talk about the B-17, the B-29 that they found in Iceland and tried to bring it back to life and fly it back. It was a big deal because the aircraft, or not B-29, it was a B-17, because those aircraft are so rare in the world now because we just cut those motherfuckers
Had
up.
rotary motors in it. Did they ever get that out?
No, it caught on fire on takeoff. They lost that aircraft, which is, it's a big loss because they actually were able to get that fucker spun up to fly away, and a goddamn loose toolbox hit a fuel line and the plane burned up.
Wild.
Yeah. Crazy. Anyways.
Okay, John Paul Jones. He says,
John
"Hey
Paul
Scully."
Jones, what a cool name.
Hey Scully, if you could
You
only
should be an admiral.
Okay, we read that one. So if you could only have one rig, what would it be?
God, it depends on what gun I'm carrying.
Just humor him.
My current Woodland micro rig that has the 7 magazines in it.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That's what you take over everything.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, anything could possibly happen. You can only have one rig for the rest of your life.
I'm getting old. I can't be toting around the fucking artillery pieces.
He's
like
full
I
of
used
shit.
to.
He'd take one of those LBVs. He can always download it. John Paul Jones also. Hey, with the election over and a big load of stress off our shoulders, what would you recommend we focus on in the prepping sphere? I know you're not going to want to hear this, but fitness, man. Fucking fitness. As you get older, things fucking hurt more. It takes longer to heal.
Because all that fitness you've been doing?
No. The fucking... You stay fit right now, man. It'll fucking help later.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I would say this. What's changed? What's changed?
Things are about to get easier for you for the next 4 years. Make money right now while you can.
But what has changed? The only thing that's changed is fear of the unknown.
They could still kill him.
Yeah. Well, again though, but the only thing that really has changed is whatever, depending on what side of the fence you're on, right? If you're on the Republican side, the only thing that has changed is the fear of the unknown of a Democrats running the country for 4 more years into the ground. That's the only thing that's changed.
Well, I mean, they were weaponizing against their enemy. I mean, I truly believe they were going to fucking start rounding people up.
Okay,
and
you see how everybody was like.
AOC just said we need to keep lists and remember all these people.
But you saw that the Democrats are so dumb. So you saw that lady got fired because she told her
them not to go to FEMA. Yeah.
So that was the second hurricane, right? And so CNN and all them came out and they're like, see, Trump was wrong. He was saying the first hurricane. He was saying that they were doing that for the first one, the first big one, right? Guess what just happened? You'll never guess what just happened.
More.
The actual supervisor who got fired. So the actual supervisor who got fired is now out there going, this was directed from high above, and we were doing it for the fucking first hurricane. This is not something new. Them firing me for this is bullshit because they had directed me to do it before. And she's like, go and ask any of the ground crews what their mandates were for either one of those storms. And they were to avoid anybody with a Trump sign. So again, CNN, you guys got to stop jumping the gun. If you see some smoke, stop telling everybody there's no fire, because guaranteed there's a fire underneath there.
Well, I mean, if you're at CNN, you should probably start looking for a job.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, whatever.
MSNBC's being sold. CNN just fired tons of their
Yeah.
fucking crew. Bushcrafting Muslim.
Yeah. Oh, bushcrafting Muslim again. I hope you have another squirrel question.
So I was actually thinking about that, right? So if you took all these, I would assume they're liberals, but I mean, I guess they change with whatever fucking paycheck they're getting. But I was thinking about that, right? If we hire a person within the shop, I almost need to be like, who'd you vote for? Like,
Can't though.
I'm sure I can.
No, you can't.
I voted. All I got to do is tell them I voted for Trump, and if they go, well, clearly we know that I'm gonna in the next 72 hours say some stuff that really offends you. So let's just head that shit off right now.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. Even though this is a shall work state, I don't believe
You're right.
that you could hire or fire anybody based off of who they voted for. So that could backfire. in
I
your
understand
face.
what you're saying. We just look for the coexist stickers, the rainbow flags.
But maybe they're good employees.
Probably not. Good employees are already employed.
I mean the transvestite black guy was a good employee until Daddy came to town and whipped his ass.
No, because he came with the fucking Tiger King.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was fine.
I was thinking,
he was
right?
fine until Tiger King whipped his ass.
I'm hiring another chef.
Okay.
Could you imagine if we'd have hired Josh and Josh was like a raging liberal? He'd be poisoning our food.
Well, he'd be poisoning it now. Before, he would have been laughing at you. He would have been like, "Ha, we're gonna win." But now you would definitely have to.
We have the local Facebook group, right?
You'd have to have what's his name come in and test.
And
food.
we've got these green-haired fucking screechers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's a Nazi. Trump's a Nazi. And I said, you guys should all take note right here and decide where you want to spend your money. If there is a business that you go to where these crazy people work and they handle your food, you really need to evaluate if you trust them to handle your food. Do they handle any of your personal records? Would you want to go to a doctor where these people have your medical records or access to any of your fucking credit card information or anything like that, right? Be careful. You should take note of who's saying the crazy shit and literally like making veiled threats against people who might look like you or be like you. And take note of where these people work. If you walk into a business where the crazy fucking green-haired chick with the fucking 20 piercings in her nose works, maybe you don't want
She
to.
might be a Republican.
Probably. That's probably what it is.
She might be. You
Probably
never know.
a Trump voter.
It could be.
Anyways, bushcrafting Muslim. Thanks for doing these podcasts. They're awesome. Feel free to ignore if the questions are stupid or inappropriate. Here's a weird problem. Here's
I
a
hope it
weird
has to do with
problem
squirrels.
that you guys might have a solution to. The land I hunt has some nasty slopes with ankle breaker rocks. And also other slopes with extremely long grass that dries in the summer and becomes very slick, matte, and no traction. That sounds like clumping grass. With a pack and a rifle, walking on that stuff is diabolical. Any suggestions on how to increase traction? I even considered crampons or snow for snow and ice. Yeah, I was going to say crampons. They make these things that are like springs that go on for walking on ice. I would tell you hunt better land. Also, this might be obvious, but I am a native. This might be obvious, but I'm a native Aussie. I didn't have that on my radar. Where the hell do you guys get your intel on what is happening in the world and military development, etc.? Any specific websites or people you follow, especially the trustworthy ones that cover what the mainstream media leave out? Well, we can't tell you that because you would just go watch them and not us.
Well, you got to watch the podcast.
Yeah, you got to listen to us. Have you seen a kangaroo today?
In my town.
Wait.
Not you. I'm talking to the Aussie guy.
If you,
You've been to Australia. Was there kangaroos in the shopping mall?
yeah, if you send me a breeding pair of kangaroos, I will tell you where I get all of my information. I'll give you my source.
You know, one got loose in Waverly.
Yeah, I did hear that. I want to know where the fuck they have kangaroos in Waverly.
You can buy them. Somebody had 3 kangaroos in Walmart the other day.
What do you mean in Walmart?
3 kangaroos in Walmart.
Just walking around shopping,
Yeah.
putting stuff in their papoose.
They had them in there. They were little kangaroo joeys.
Yeah, I want breeding pairs to release wild and make sure you don't let Tennessee Valley Authority know I'm going to do this, or I'm going to release breeding pairs into Tennessee because I want people to be like, what the fuck?
We landed on this island. There's a bunch of mice, so let's let these cats go. Have you seen the cat island? They have a whole fucking. It's a nuisance animal in different places in Australia where they kill, and all those cats are orange cats. They all.
I saw a like a. No, it was probably CNN or whatever, but they did like an investigation, and they met this dude who lives in the outback, and all he does is hunt cats. That's his thing, and he had like cat salt shakers and cat like they took it. They go into his house, and his entire house is made out of cat furs
trinkets.
and shit, just cat trinkets. I'm like, this motherfucker is batshit crazy, just out here shooting cats,
That's
and
awesome.
they were like regular cats too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the rabbits, they had an island where the ships would stop on the way to wherever they were going. So they left they left like 6 rabbits, and the rabbits took over the whole fucking
over the
island.
Yeah,
love it.
We are terrible. Whenever somebody says this is the way to fix something,
Yeah, kudzu.
It's
Kudzu.
a lie. It's a fucking lie. You're not going to fix nothing. You're going to make a problem even worse.
If you live someplace and kudzu's a problem, if you can fence an area off, goats will eat all that shit.
And you can thank Jimmy Carter for that.
Okay, so what's his solution? Light the grass on fire before you go.
No, I mean there's really no solution. Just go slow and take it easy so you don't fucking twist an ankle. You could get snowshoes. Just walk on top of everything.
No, not really. The
It
crampon thing might work.
Well, I know what he's talking about because
Yeah, Brando almost died when we went and looked at that 40-acre property a few months ago.
I know what he's talking about from the hunting.
He's still complaining. He still
in
has
New
chickers.
Zealand. That grass. They have this grass that grows up high, off the ground, but it's super dense.
We have it right out here.
And then there'll be a hole right here. So you're trying to walk in this. It's like walking on lava rock, but you can't see any of the ground. So it's a pain in the ass. I know what he's talking about.
Like walking in the tide pools.
I'll go with John's first assessment. Find a better place to hunt.
Tell us some more Australian stories.
Yeah,
You
tell
got
us more
crazy?
about hunting cats.
Did you ever get attacked by wild aborigines? Mike K. Did you ever see Quigley when he was down under? Mike K. Do you think it's possible that the next 4 years of Trump will be a result, or is it more likely that it's just going to be a delay and everything going to shit? If the reprieve is temporary, what are the 5 things you would recommend
Jesus.
doing on a newish homestead?
I hate these 19.
It doesn't have to be any situation. Let's say the 5 things you want to do. You need to have water. And even if you have water, take all of your structures, get gutters on them, and a means to harvest water. If you don't have structures, put up something, whether it's tarps or an awning or a lean-to, preferably lean-tos, right? Because then you can kind of put sides on them with tarps or put metal on them as you can afford it, or put pallets on them, and now you have a place to store hay and tools and things out of the elements. The most damage that gets done on the property to any of the equipment is sunlight. So if you have it under some structure at all that keeps the sun off of it, it will last a lot longer. So water. Number 2, fences. Fence your property. Fences take care of tons of problems because with fences, you can keep livestock dogs in. Livestock dogs keep predators out. Fences keep dogs in, dogs keep predators out. Now you can, and depending how you fence it, and you don't have to fence it all at once. You can do temporary fencing with cattle panels or rolled wire and just T-posts. But once you get to where you can do fencing, you can save a lot of money if you can fence yourself. If you learn how to put in your corner posts, your 6-inch posts, and then build your H-beam, your bracing, and then stretch your wire, and then you can go, every 6 feet, 8 feet, put a T-post. You can do 2 T-posts and then wood, 2 T-posts, wood. Learn how to do that shit. But once you have that in, like I have 2x4 wire. Rabbits can't get through the wire. Like there are no fucking rabbits on the property inside the fence line because of the wire we use. That costs more than 4x4 wire. But just start getting your fencing up. What would be the next things? You need access. You need water. Type 1 problems are like you can't change zoning. You can't move this mountain. What do you think?
I think I think stop doing the things you know you need to do based off of your hair is not on fire anymore.
That's what I said in the beginning.
Yeah, what the issue is, we tend to think because Trump is going to be president for 4 years that things are going to be good. We have no idea what the future actually holds for us.
All the riots happened last time when Trump was in office.
Or
COVID happened while Trump was in office.
Or what the world has in store for the United States of America. So instead of thinking about, well, how hard do I have to push for the next 4 years in order to be... Push to the point where you don't need to do that anymore, right? Push to the point where you're like, well, if toilet paper runs out tomorrow, I'll be good for 2 years, or whatever it is that you think you need to prepare for. I say keep pushing hard because you don't know what's going to happen. Trump's not in office. What if the Democratic Party, there is a bunch of Democrats that are running around talking about we're going to invoke the 14th Amendment and we're not going to let him be president because he's a felon, and there's people talking about there are people in the Pentagon and Congress openly talking about fucking real insurrection, not fake insurrection, real insurrection. So who's to say that Trump makes it into the White House? And if that don't happen and we set up two governments, talk about what a shit show that's going to be. I mean, we already had two governments for 4 years anyways because Trump was really the president. But again, a shit show. A fucking, that's the angle. I just figured it out. Democrats, check it out. I just fucking figured it out, guys. Democrats, here's your angle, okay? Here is your angle. This is how you get rid of Trump. This is how you stop Trump from being president. You could still do it. Decertify Biden's election. Go ahead and let everybody know that you stole that election through illegal ballot stuffing because you did. There was 15 million votes. Yeah, go ahead and
20 million.
Decertify that election. Declare Donald Trump the president for the last. Make him 46, right? Make him 46
now
president.
He can't run for a third term.
He can't be president because you can't have third term.
But they're saying he's going to change all that. He's just going to be the king for the rest of the.
Come on,
the world.
No, he's not. Okay, that he's not. What he's trying. The reality is he's doing the same thing that the Bushes did. He's doing the same thing that the Clintons did.
You guys just wait till Marjorie Taylor Greene is your president.
He's doing the same thing that every fucking person who gets into the White House does. They try and create a dynasty for their children. He's just creating a pathway for his sons to be president.
Yeah, they're saying Barron.
So when that's the one you guys got to worry about because they wrote that book about him
200 years ago.
200 years ago. Yeah. So you better be careful.
Paul says, I'm building a new house on 16 acres.
Nice.
The house is at the highest elevation on the property.
Good.
Set back off the road 300 feet, not very visible from the road. The driveway is designed to prevent direct line of sight from the road to the house.
Nice.
I appreciate your thoughts on security layering and early warning. We have a dog, but she's not the type to start barking until someone's strange is at the door. Okay, so no question, just a statement here, it looks like. That's badass, dude.
I like it.
Congratulations, dude. Take your trees where you say that you've got the trees, 300 feet of trees. Make sure you have evergreen trees. A lot of people will go buy a house or buy a property, and when they look at it, they're like, oh, awesome, it's back in behind these trees. You can't see it. As soon as fall comes, everybody sees it. There's many times when I'm driving down the same road in the fall and winter, and I'm like, I didn't know that giant-ass house was back there. That guy must have a lot of money. Get some pine in there. Get something that doesn't drop its leaves. It could even be bamboo. I know a lot of people are scared of bamboo, but there's a ton of bamboo you can plant that stays. It grows very thick, and you cannot see through it in the winter. Bamboo's got a ton of uses. You can use it for pipes. You can use it for structures. You can use it to move water with. There's so many things. And when you look at bamboo, hundreds of kinds of bamboo. Some's 1 inch, some is 6 inch, some is 60 feet tall, some is 20 feet. There's purple bamboo. There's evergreen bamboo that stays green in the winter. So
the other thing too is you're talking about, you got a
curvy road.
Curvy road that goes up the house. Just make sure that you don't have,
a delivery truck.
Well, you don't have 400 yards. Because you're 300 yards off. Make sure you don't have 300 yards of grass alongside that curvy road.
Yeah. Also with a curvy road, do you have a clear shot to the road if you needed to make that clear shot? If you have a clear shot, somebody has a clear shot to you also. But that, like, I've been watching this house build. Guy bought a property in East Tennessee. bought it and built on top of this mountain, and he's got this nice curvy road access. When they needed to come in, when they had to bring in the concrete truck to put the concrete in, they had to cut a straight road. The truck couldn't make the turns. It couldn't do it.
What do we got?
Douglas Dunn. Scully,
Douglas.
Are you excited for new Scout Sniper Memorial at the museum in Quantico?
I did not know that they're doing a Scout Sniper Memorial in Quantico.
Well, you're on it.
I hope I'm not on it.
It's a bronze statue of you.
I hope I'm not on it. But if they're doing it, I'm. It's about time. I'll be interested to see how they. I mean, again, it's what is it and how they got the names that they do have. If they're putting names on there, because we are, as a community, we suck at identifying and understanding who was actually killed as Scout Snipers, and then we bicker about stuff that doesn't matter, like. Was he in the platoon at the time? Was he carrying the rifle? It's just, again, if you're an 8541 or an 0317 and you've been killed in the defense of this country, I don't care what your MO. I mean, you could have been driving a truck and got blown up. Same thing.
So
whatever.
Memorial, as always, somebody who has passed.
Yes, it's usually
Always.
it's going to be guys that pass. So it'll be interesting to see it, and I look forward to it, and I applaud it, and it's about time, Marine Corps. I am actually surprised that they're doing it because. As most of you know, the last commandant hated fucking Scout Snipers because fucking
Is it
one
true
of
that-
them must have did something to his girlfriend.
Is it true that when they knock on the door, they have to go, little pig, let me in?
Something like that.
And
It's
then the
close to that.
instructors are like, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down.
I think that's an East Coast thing, but yeah, it's something similar to that.
Okay. So, Garrett calling.
Okay.
Well, since no one else wants to know anything, what are recommended courses of action for the next 4 years? Also, you mentioned it a little while back. Would you tell us more stories about feds coming to your parties and SRF trying to Randy Weaver you and your crew? I like the way you put that. It's not exactly how I took it. I didn't realize they targeted anyone involved in the gun industry. Did they also try to go after Mr. Yeager? Thank you for your time and adding value.
Oh man, they really went after Yeager.
They did go after James. They didn't go after James for I really thought they were going to come after James over the Bundy thing, right? Because he was at the Bundy Ranch, and they were gunmen at the Bundy Ranch. Those dudes. There are videos. There's news crews taking videos of them in sniper position on the bridges of the freeway overpass, right, where they have that clear shot where that drain is and stuff. And there was no retribution over any of that. Now, there were no shots fired, but they did actively many times stop federal agents from loading fucking up livestock and a lot of I don't know how much of that is actually out there.
Well, they did kill one of the Bundys.
But they didn't kill him there.
Yeah, I know.
They killed the Bundy in the Capitol building they took over in Colorado, wasn't it?
No, they killed him when he was going to his pickup truck. When he got out of his truck and was going to surrender to the FBI agents, and they killed him.
In a different state.
In a different state, yeah.
Got it. But they were after him for the Reno, Nevada thing?
Yeah,
it was Reno, Nevada, wasn't it?
It was a Reno, Nevada thing. But again, I think that was too high profile, right?
So they had to...
I think it was too high profile, and it was the wrong time. I believe if it would have happened, if that same scenario would have happened under this administration, all those people would have been... They would have waited until they went home, and then they would have individually locked them all, just like they did with.
They're still rounding up. They
January
said they
6th.
want another 1,200 arrests for January 6th.
Yeah, they're not getting it. That's over. When Trump gets in office, he's gonna fucking let all those people go.
They should pay all those people. They should be compensated.
Well, I mean,
if they did not commit a crime other than
letter
going
of
in
the letter of the law.
$1,200 a day.
Letter of the law. What they are currently doing to those individuals is completely illegal. Especially since the Supreme Court already came out and said the fucking the law that they're using to hold those people it's not intended for that purpose. So they've already been told that they should let these guys go. But again, you have a Department of Justice that is off the rails. And you have an administration that is off the rails, and they don't mind doing things that they know are illegal.
Did you see that the Department of the Navy this morning came out? Maybe it was yesterday. It was reported this morning. Anybody who refused to take the COVID vaccination that was pushed out of the Navy or whatever, they're going to get all their full back pay and their reinstatement if they choose and everything.
They posted that a long time ago. It's because, again, you need, if you're planning on a fake military, you can woke it all up. But if you're planning on really going to war, you need meat eaters. It's why the commercials have also changed.
So he asks about feds at Self-Reliance Festival.
Go
ahead. I never saw him.
John, this guy comes in. It's hilarious. We're standing by this tent, and this kid walks in, right? He walks in, and he's classic khaki pants and tucked in shirt.
He's got the crew cut.
Got the haircut, and John's like, so we haven't met him, okay? John's like, there's the Fed right there, and he's pointing at him.
I think I had a microphone. I think I was on stage talking. And I'm like, federal agent, come here.
And the kid, he just keeps going, right? He keeps walking, doesn't do anything. And so I'm like, yep, that's the Fed. It was kind of hilarious because, again,
we go inside, and he's standing there with Amanda.
He's standing. He's standing, and there's a group. This was by the stills.
He's super ate up.
Yeah, this is by the stills. John's talking to somebody. He's over here talking to somebody, and I walk around the corner, and I'm walking past him, and I literally hear him go. He's talking about handcuffs and billy clubs. He's literally telling the cop story, right? That he's telling somebody the story of handcuffs and billy clubs, and I walk over to John and go, "You're right. He's the Fed."
There was two dudes here at SRF that were in suits. Looked like your typical, like what you would think a Federal Bureau of Investigation guy looks like. I never saw them. Somebody said, "Are you federal agents?" And they're like, "Yes, we're federal agents." Who are you looking for? What can we help you with? What are you doing? You're welcome to stay. What can we do to assist you? And they broke contact, walked away. I never got to see them. At the parties early on, when we would have parties and there'd be a bunch of machine guns out here, because we would do the party when there was alumni weekend. So Achilles would be here with all their machine guns on the range, and they'd bring the machine guns over, and everybody could shoot the machine guns.
Registered legal machine guns.
Fully
papered.
Like everything's papered. And we would always have dudes show up, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got a Mac 10. You want to buy a Mac 10? I'm like, "I don't want to buy shit from you." Like, "Hey, I made this Uzi. Can I bring my..." No. If it's illegal and you've just told me that you've broken some law, do not, as a matter of fact, don't even have it on my property. Out of sight. I don't know it happened. I haven't seen it. Don't fucking show it to me. But if you come in here and you're trying, I do not want to buy your illegal piece of merchandise. And that happened probably every event. And it's very, very blatant when it happens. Very blatant.
I think it has to be.
Hey, I don't have a wire right here, but can you just whisper into my collar? Like that kind of shit. I'm like, dude. And it's always a dude you don't know who he is.
Because you'd have to think.
You've never seen him before.
You'd have to think for the most part, it would have to be pretty. It would have to be pretty from the hip. Like they would have to be moving from the hip in the sense of. I don't think that there's a task force that is like, guys, we need some volunteers. In December, there's going to be a party at the SOE compound. Who wants to go? I would think that it's like somebody at the gas station calls the sheriff's department like, "Man, I hear a motherfucker up here tearing it up with machine guns. Sounds like a lot of machine guns." And then
but it's not the gas station. Like we've already liaised. Like we're very good friends with the gas station.
Somehow it gets to somebody, and then somebody's like
the first few parties.
Maybe we ought to send somebody out there and see what's going on.
So the first, like we always have off-duty officers. Everybody's welcome. Like we invite. I always invite the locals. They just never come. But we always have off-duty officers who don't have to work that day that are just attending because they want to attend. Yeah. And then inevitably we will have, and we're out of city limits, but there will be a police car will come in here, which is not jurisdiction. Sheriff's cars will come in here, and I'll meet them like, "Hey, are you just here to be here? Can we do anything for you?" They're like, "No, we just heard there's machine guns. Can we shoot them? Can we see them?" Like, I'm like, "You guys are welcome, man. Make yourself at home." Like we've never had any law enforcement issue.
I'm actually surprised. I am actually surprised that they've never, that an ATF agent hasn't shown up and be like, "Get the papers out. Let me see this shit." You had a 50 cal. You had an M250 cal out here bumping.
We had a Mark 19.
Boom, 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 boom. I know you had a Mark 19. I would think that somebody would be like,
I think it's pretty evident who that is. Like if an ATF dude's like, there's these machine guns. Anytime they've ever seen any video, the machine gun manufacturer and owners are there. I'm like, oh, these are the guys from the TV show. Like they know who those dudes are. They've probably already fucking stopped them coming into Tennessee to begin with.
Maybe. It just seems like they would be like, because I don't. Again, it's a slippery. It's one of those weird slopes where like, I would think that somebody would come out here and be like, even if it was just the sheriff, like, hey, let me see that these are legit. Even though he technically can't look at your paperwork because it's tax information, you really only have to show it to the Department of Justice and the ATF or an IRS agent. They could send. That would be awesome if an IRS agent came out here. I need to audit your books. I would love it. He'd be fucking cool. He'd be probably armed to the teeth because those guys got all kinds of guns and shit. Be a full TAC team. You know what? I bet they'd come in by helicopter, fast rope down. They'd be like, IRS, everybody hit the ground. It'd be awesome. It'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't have any real cool stories about that, man. Marcus Macias. Scully, 17 Weapons Company, Heavy Guns,
Hell
9701, yeah. No question, just a shout out.
Fucking hell yeah, Heavy Guns.
What is it? Hut Kill?
Yep, Heavy Guns, man. Those guys. Oh man, the good old days. They probably still do it, man. But when we did our first McCrest hike, and we had to fucking do the 25 miles. Watching those dudes carry those 50 cals and those mortars, I was like, holy shit! I'm glad I'm just got an M16. Oh man, it was good times. But Heavy Guns, yeah. Heavy Guns ain't no joke. It's where they send all the real men and the heavy guns. Mortars too. But Heavy Guns. 17 is a great battalion. If you're out there in 29 Palms, shout out to 17. I mean, not as good as 19. 19 was the best battalion the Marine Corps ever had when they were on the West Coast. East Coast, not so much. But 17 was a good battalion.
What's a Heavy Guns mean?
What does it sound like? Those are
guns.
the boys with the heavy guns, bro.
Okay.
You know, it's because that's where the heavy guns are. That's where the 50 cal is. The 240 Golfs are coming out of Heavy Guns. So that's where the heavy guns are, man. Those guys are the beasts. They're all for some reason they are always beasts too. I don't know how that happens. I think when they're at SOI, they're like, who's a beast? You're gonna go to Heavy Guns.
You're in Heavy Guns.
Yeah, I think there's actually kind of like a test where they're like, everybody get in your PT gear. We're gonna figure out who's gonna go to Heavy Guns, and they're always the heavy gun guys are always the. How do I say this and be politically correct? The heavy gun section of any battalion is always the fucking. That's where the party's at, right? The party. If you want to party, if it's like a Tuesday afternoon, and if it's like a Tuesday afternoon and the battalion's off because of some special shit, like you got a long weekend and the battalion's off. It's like a Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning, and you're like, I'd really like to party. All you got to do is find Heavy Guns because they're already 4 hours deep. Like maybe even still working on last night's party. They're already still deep in the party. They're already deep. You know, there's bottles out on the balcony and shit. There's a couch that they've thrown out from the second deck that two guys are sleeping on it. The Heavy Guns is always, that's the section. You want to be around Heavy Guns when it's time. Is that it? Was that the last question?
Stand by. I got a question here on something.
So yeah, shout out 17. What? That's the Ridge Runners. They still have steel pots out there. Those guys are, they live in a different world in 29 Palms. Those guys still have the E-tools with the long wooden handles and shit, digging their fighting holes. Yep, steel pots.
Keep talking.
It's a different Marine Corps out there. 29 Palms. Oh man, the Marine Corps was already like 10 years deep into no hazing. And the first thing I saw when I got to 29 Palms 17 was motherfucking Lance Corporals hazing fucking PFCs and shit. Like it was cool.
All right, last question.
Last question.
Here. is, and it's not really a question. Yeah, it is. Do you have a physical access for storefront?
No.
We'll be out that way in the near future. So CK Ultra, contact us ahead of time. We do. You can walk in here. But more and more as time goes on, we are less accessible. Like today's Wednesday. If you came in, you might see Amanda. She's doing payroll and a bunch of stuff today. You're not going to probably see me at all. You're not going to see Scully at all. If you come in Friday, we're recording most of the day Friday also. So it just depends what's going on. It used to be guys would come in and we'd show you all around and hang out for an hour or so. We just can't do that anymore. So just talk to us before you do that. Reach out through email. Let us know when you plan to be in town, and we'll see what we can work out. But yeah, if you've ever seen a live at night, that's the storefront. So you know how much material's here, how much product's ready to go. You can walk in and buy things, just dependent on who's available to help you.
And then what's available here? We're on. Oh,
if we're on, motherfucker, then we're on.
so we're still doing
questions.
kind of Patreon questions, right?
These are coming from the membership, but they'll be able to see this most likely. What kind of system in place have you built? How do you build systems in place to build your business brand up? I don't have any of that shit.
John has no system.
We do a lot of shit, and if it works, we do more of that.
John has no system.
The biggest thing is just execute fast. Like guys that have really built some shit, they try fucking everything really quick, and the difference between them and the other people is while the other people talk about doing something for 2 weeks, this guy's already tried it. It's already working, or it's failed, and he's moved on to 10 other things.
You can also inundate yourself with too much information where you're like, okay, I want to do this thing. Let me watch 400 videos on the thing that I need to do instead of, like John just said. Me personally, I think the hardest thing for anyone, for all of us, is just the execution phase. People get good ideas all the time, but then it's like,
we think
how do you execute the thing that you just thought of? So it's usually the execution phase that's the hardest for most
We think
people.
of good stuff all the time, and if we put it in motion right then, it's going. If he comes back in a week from now and he's like, hey, how'd that thing go? I'm like, I already forgot about it. I already talked myself out of it. And that's like Pierre. When Pierre was here, he was always like, but what if? We always called him the what if guy. I'm like, Pierre, by the time you have heard about it and you're telling us what might go wrong with it, not that he's naysaying, it's more like, can we get away with that or can we do that? I'm like, Pierre, it's already happened. We already hit it, quit it, on to the next thing. It's already happened. It's over with. We've made the money off of it, and now we're using that as a stepping stone for something else. If you were a young man today, what business, trade, endeavor would you invest your time in? Props on everything you guys do, big inspirations. I meet a lot of young men that are like, I want to start a business. I'm like, cool, what are you going to do? I don't know what I should do. And on the ride back yesterday, we made a delivery yesterday, and we had about 45 minutes, and I was riding with a young man named Isaac. And he's like, I think I'm going to start a handyman business. I'm like, cool. Do you pick up dog shit? He's like, well, no, I don't pick up. Do you pull weeds? He's like, no, I don't pull weeds. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do? Like, what's your handyman business? And we've just determined that you won't do these things, but I would willingly pay you right now to do these things. What do you cost per hour? What can you do? Because I'm literally looking for things that I might be able to use him to do right now. And he's like, I thought about a lawn business. I'm like, cool, do you have a lawnmower?
That's not a handyman either.
No, it's not. And I'm like, but lawn's good. Like, I like lawn. I know enough that I could plug him in with people doing lawn. There's always lawn work to do if you're willing to do it. And lawn work is a lot closer to pulling weeds. So do you pull weeds? No, I don't pull weeds. I'm like, okay, well, that I can work you all Saturday and Sunday. You just tell me, I'm going to walk you around and show you all these weeds. And you tell me I don't even need to know how long it'll take you. You just tell me how much you want to pull them all. You pull them all, and you could do them in 2 hours or you could do them in 2 days. I don't care. You tell me how much it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you were young, what would you do right now? YouTube channel. But a lot of guys doing YouTube don't
I'd be influencer.
Like, I don't make money doing YouTube.
You don't.
No. And I have, like, I've had full fucking YouTube guys.
You're not.
Were you making money doing YouTube?
You're not trying to make money doing YouTube. I'm currently making cents on the dollar or cents on the $100,000 on YouTube.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
But again, I'm not really pushing the envelope as far as trying to make money.
Do you know how to do it? Because I don't.
You have
Yeah.
to be censored completely.
What?
Yeah, you
Gotta
have
be
to.
censored
You got to.
completely.
You need to create a PG-13 channel.
Yep.
Like if you created a PG-13 channel that could be monetized, because we can't be monetized.
So
'cause
how's
you can't
Andy
be-
Frisella making money on it? He's not.
He makes money off everything.
Yeah.
He owns.
If you did a PG-13 channel, where, I mean, think about it. If you did a PG-13 channel, we can show 150,000 followers. This product placement is in every video we ever do. Why wouldn't they fucking send us some money? They're not going to send us money now because we're controversial.
Do you know how to do it?
And also, you have a history of it already.
Yeah.
So I'm fucked.
Yeah.
No, you're
Well,
not.
no.
You could PG-13. I think you could start a whole nother channel where it's, but I don't. Okay.
Could we do
here's-
a faceless YouTube channel?
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. I don't think you could be PG-13.
I don't think I can either.
Yeah, so that is the
I
problem.
cuss at church.
But that's why your actual followers follow you. I mean, like right now, you make off of YouTube, you make
$2,500.
a month.
The most I've ever seen was under $3,000.
Yeah, so you make the average income of a person.
A homeless
in
person?
Tennessee. No, in Tennessee.
A homeless person in Tennessee.
30,000 in Tennessee.
I can't even eat chicken every day for $2,500.
Yes, you can.
That's because you
Only,
haven't.
only if I cook it myself.
Well, yeah.
Poor, listen to you with your poor people problems. God, you're poor. No wonder your channel can't make any money. You just the poor people problems.
White people problems.
Yeah.
We gotta go blackface, all of us.
That would definitely not do it.
Can we
Yeah,
get
no,
some?
I mean, if we could get Jimmy Kimmel here,
Can we get some black friends to do whiteface?
We can.
Would that cancel it out? Would we be okay then?
With you?
If you're, hey, do I
like
have
if
any
we did
black?
like an Ebony and Ivory?
Do we have any black guys that listen? If you're a black guy, I want to know.
Why? You gonna have him come on the channel?
I'm gonna give him extra points
Oh, okay.
because I need to ask him black guy questions.
That's a good idea.
We'll ask Kevin from NOC Firearms. No other choice. He's black, dude.
That's a good idea.
Actually, good dude. Actually, really good dude. Sigames. If you were young, okay, we read that. Not as tactical as your friend. I'm definitely not as tactical as my friend.
No, I'm not tactical.
I feel as if
Randall's more tactical.
I feel
than
as if the
He's
gun.
probably got a gun on him right now.
I feel as if the gun. You don't have a gun on you right
No,
now.
this is safe space. why are you laughing? This is safe space.
You're most likely to get killed here than anywhere else you go
This is a
in
safe
your
space.
life.
This is safe
Yeah,
space.
someday some crazy person is going to come
This
in.
is this is a safe space.
I have to have security.
I am
almost.
totally not worried.
I'm
they're
hiring all the
gonna-
people Tim Pool fires.
They're going to start over there, so I'm not worried.
Chances are the gunfire you hear from over there is not going to be the bad guy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried. Safe space.
I feel as if the gun patriot community just took a massive breath. I do too, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. And is not panicking as much. What should we be doing? Building business, getting a second job, networking, thought, all of that, man. Absolutely. Even not a second business. If you have a first business, I want all of you to have a business. That's the number one, is to have a business
Okay.
in fitness.
This is the same thing.
Health. You don't even have to be fit. If you're a fat guy, as long as you're healthy.
We've kind of answered this question before.
Probably the same guy.
Could be the same guy. But this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this. Everybody took a giant breath. Like, oh yeah, everything's okay.
Now you're lightheaded.
This is what I'm going to say. Prior to that, you had this list in your head of things that you had to get done in case.
So now do them.
Yeah, that list hasn't changed.
You know you can
Finish and execute all the things you started instead of postponing them to create some sort of fucking toilet paper, ammunition, food emergency 4 years from now when some lunatic takes over the presidency.
You can do them one a day.
Yeah, just make sure you execute that list, finish what you started, and then go on to the next thing. Maybe you don't need all the supplies you thought you needed, but if you thought you needed them 4 years ago, they're going to be even more important 8 years from now.
Charles Wilson. Hey, what's up, Charles? UV
Hey,
light
Charles.
on gear. I have heard about this. Have you guys got thoughts on this or fix? The UV light makes some gear glow. Okay, so you're not talking about light deteriorating on gear. If you leave gear sitting on the dash of your car for 3 years, it's gonna affect it. You're gonna have an issue. I just had one of these hoodies, these lightweight hoodies. I wanted to use the van the other day, and it was out of registration. So it was out of registration by 4 years. That means the last time I drove it was 4 years ago when I parked it over there. Well, there's a hoodie on the dash. It is now all white where the sun had hit it. So that's a problem. Yeah, some gear does glow under light. I just watched a video that Dirty Civilian did, and they did a comparison on Cry pants versus Chinese knockoffs. And the Chinese knockoffs actually did pretty well compared to some of the U.S. gear. Yeah, you're looking for solution dyed. You're looking for IR. I don't remember what it's called, Charles. Yes, I would assume that since you're asking this question, you have some night vision. So take your shit out and look at it, and go from there.
We probably watched the same video. That I don't know if they were called Dirty Civilian, but they had like 25 different sets of gear, legit gear and Chinese knockoff gear, and then old Woodlands, and just to see how they would work under night vision. They had stuff that was washed in fabric brightening.
The fabric brightening bleaches.
Fabric
really
brightening stuff,
fucking
and
make
they had
shit shine.
They had they didn't really notice a difference, and this is and they pointed something out because I did this when I first saw the videos of the guys putting the t-shirts out there that were glowing and stuff with the night vision on. I'm like, holy shit, I gotta fix my stuff. I gotta get the
Scrims really help.
The fucking the damn baby detergent in order to make sure that my shit's not glowing in the dark. And then I thought about I forgot. I'm like, holy shit. Okay. You know what we never did? We never did. At any given time I was in the military, never once did anybody go, hey, make sure you don't wash your shit in color brightening detergent because it's going to show up on that. Never once. And never once have I ever been out in the field where I put night vision on and I went, oh my God, you're glowing, dude, because you have color brighteners in your candies.
Maybe the night vision's a lot better now.
No, it's not. No? It's not that. It's just it's a play on what is being used. There's certain materials, like the more polyester was in the material, the more it will glow because it's reflecting light. That's the thing you have to think of is when you're talking about your clothing, or when you're talking about any surface, really, to be more effective against night vision, you want it to absorb light. You want it to absorb light. When your clothing is reflecting light, that's what it's seeing. It's picking up the reflection of whatever that is. So if you have a light source, if you have any type of light source, whether it's the moon, the fucking stars, and you're getting that on the front of your nylon, whatever it is, you're going to get reflection from it. So that's really what it is.
I know we just put on a custom 8-mag stacked chest rig for you, Charles Wilson. If I look at that under night vision and it's kind of glowy, would you like me to cancel that order for you?
It won't be. You're good, bro. Don't worry about it. Just put it with spray paint.
Jamie Carlson, is the Vajanko superior to the Fleshlight?
I do not know the answer to that because I haven't tested out the Vajanko. I've been hit in the face with the Fleshlight a couple of times. Here at the shop.
Here?
Yeah, here at the shop. It's happened.
Who did it?
Cody.
Hit you with a Fleshlight?
Well, you walk around the corner and the Fleshlight's right there.
Oh, and you boop.
You boop it.
What is this wetness inside this thing?
I don't know. I would be hard surprised if the fucking Fleshlight in the shop was not used roughly.
Nah, it was never used.
Roughly. But I don't know about the Vajanko. The Vajanko's pretty soft. Is the Vajanko still here?
Did he steal it? Did he take
the Vajankos with him?
I don't know.
I
wonder. That's a good question. It doesn't smell like Vajanko.
I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. That's a good question.
You know
what we're gonna do? We're gonna get a team on this. We'll probably do a blind test where two people get Vajankos, and then 2 people get the only Fleshlight. So sorry, you gotta team up on that one.
The first thing that ever got my Facebook page locked down was posting a picture of a Fleshlight when I made a pouch for it, which is weird because Fleshlight has their own page with over 2 million people. This was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, then I went to and looked at Fleshlight's page. They had zombie pussy. They had vampire pussies. They had all kinds. They had rotting flesh pussy inserts you could put in these things. Crazy shit. Check out Bad Dragon too. That's some crazy shit. Like for sex toys. I don't know why I know that. They have some crazy shit.
Why don't you know? I know why you know it, because you're a damn pervert.
No.
Yeah, you're a complete pervert.
No.
The vajankles are in here somewhere.
I'm curious
Yeah,
if they
pervert.
are. Actually, pause for a second. Turn the light on. I notice you have your vajankles there.
Well,
You have
I mean,
a pair.
it's a nice pair.
Is it a left and a right?
It is a left and a right. It's not two rights. That would be weird. Like, what kind of weirdo are you?
I guess
right
I've never
feet?
seen them both together. I thought, what is there 2 boxes?
No, it's one. You get when you order vajankles, you get a pair.
How do you get the rest of her?
Why would you need more? It's in the vajankle. Like, why would you need more? It's in the vajankle.
Oh shit! Okay, here's the next question from Hunter Bradley. Where do babies come from?
The stork brings them.
What is the stork story? What's the bird? You know, I don't know the bird and bee story.
That the bee flowers, or the bee pollinates the flower. You don't know that?
No, I've never heard the actual bird and the bee story. I thought the bird eats the bee.
No,
No.
that's not how it works, Sean. No, no wonder you've been doing it wrong all these years.
Okay, Michael Zimmerman, what's up? What are your thoughts on Operation Mockingbird? It's still in existence today. Do you think it's been instituted for the last 2 elections? Oh, it's in every election. Or when do you think it was enacted into place? We know when it fucking came into place. The CIA admitted to it. It was in the 50s.
But just think about COVID. Think about COVID from a sense of mind control. Think about all the people that just fell into line and just did exactly what they were told. That's all part of Mockingbird. That was the whole point of all that, is to get people to do exactly what they're told. And unfortunately, if you're a liberal, it's really easy to manipulate your brain to doing something fucking exactly like you're told. So,
Yeah, I mean, like they keep saying Trump is Hitler, right? I would like to actually side by side have somebody go, okay, Hitler did this, Trump did this. I'd like to see how many align, anything that actually aligns. But where I'm going with this is like Night of the Long Knives, right? They called them, useless idiots. They reported on all those people. As soon as the Nazis got into power, they actually killed all those people. They actually removed all those people from life.
I would say you're better off lining up.
Crystal Vulcan, is that what they called it? Something like that?
You're better lining up Biden's policies, or what Biden's policies were with Adolf Hitler, because there are more fascist ideas under the guise of democracy than there are of
Kamala.
yeah,
I can't
Kamala,
even make.
yeah.
I see it in my
So-
head. Kamala Lama. I can't even pronounce it. Kamala. I know Kamala Harris. I'm trying to make fun of her. How do you get morality back into our demoralized country?
Unfortunately,
You can't with social media.
yeah, you could.
You just be moral yourself.
You could. You can. You have to set examples and bring religion back. That's all.
So that's what this guy. Somebody actually replied to him, says Jared Bates was the original commenter, and Brother Gas says, get closer to the one that gave you the morals to begin with. Without him, it doesn't matter.
Without him, oh well. I mean, if he's talking about Jesus, that's one thing. But
That's who he's talking about.
you have to have you attempt. I mean, if you have how do you do that? Because I think about this quite a bit. You have to have the
Tower
of Babel
has to fall.
You have to have the moral fortitude. How do you have the moral fortitude to do the thing that you know is right, even when everybody else is doing the thing that you know is wrong? That's the issue. The issue is, are you doing something because the crowd is doing it, or are you doing it because it's morally right?
That's doing what's right even when no one's
Because we've been
looking.
doing what the crowd has been doing for a long time.
Doing what's right even when no one's looking. Sage Diamond
Sage
says,
Diamond,
do you
nice.
think things will continue to escalate after Trump got in office? Seems like the gravy train is full motion right now.
Okay, when you say the same, here's the issue. What most people don't want to admit is the path that the Democrats took over the last 4 years or it even started before then, really, all during the Trump administration. That path, that wokeness, right? That path they went way, first it was Me Too, and now we're way over here in we're over here in the bushes driving drunk. That was dying. Like, it literally was dying. People were tired of it. They were over all this fucking me, whiny bullshit. That it's not real, right? It's not real when they make these statements about, oh, I can't walk down the street because I fear for my life. It's not real. You fear for your life because your current administration won't prosecute criminals, and they're rampaging around your streets, not because of anything that a Republican did. So anyways, it's just one of those things where things couldn't get better, but you don't know what the deep state has in store to unleash on Trump to keep him from being able to implement his policies that could make America better.
He's not even in power yet. He's not even in office yet. Mm-hmm. Like, they still might. I mean, there's supposedly 5-6 attempts on him right now, 2 that we visibly saw. So who knows, man? Is he even going to get into office? Guys,
Is that all of them?
That is the last question. Right. This is a combined video. Are we doing 2 separates, or?
We'll do a combined one.
Let's combine it and give it to both of them. So Patreon and YouTube members will both have access to the same video.
Nice.
So you can kind of see what's there. We're going to go do a live video now, and we've been giving gear away. We've been giving gear away. You have to be a Patreon member, and you have to have an order number to win that stuff. If you guys have watched it, all of our live videos are still there. If you click the live tab, you'll see them all. If you see those, when you see Amanda and I or Scully and I out here doing a video, we try 5 or 6 dudes. I'm like, hey, you won. Hit me up on Patreon. They're like, I don't have Patreon. What's it cost? Like $5? You can be on Patreon for $5. And the Patreon, we build a Patreon video a couple of times a week, and we build those off questions you guys ask. So, like, the questions, if you don't like the direction of those videos, jump in there, ask yourself. We'll build the video around the questions you guys ask. So we want to add value, and we want to give you actionable information. All that requires is you asking questions so that we can build the content that you value. Guys, we will see you shortly on the live. Thanks for participating this week. What?
December 7th.
December 7th, SOE Compound Party.
Oh,
it's going to be the party that lives in infamy. Kiri wanted to use that. I'm like, I don't think we should use it. And in hindsight, we totally should have fucking
probably should have used it, yeah. We're going to be doing kamikaze shots in the park.
Kamikaze shots, donuts, bring your Porsche.
Yep.
We're going to have Porsche racing. We're doing, this is actually real. You know the hobby horse races?
We're going to do a hobby horse race?
We're doing a hobby horse race. The winner gets an AR-15 that Brandon is providing. Brandon is giving the winner an AR-15.
What? How do you do that?
How do you do what?
What? Can I be in the hobby horse? AR-15?
Yeah. Yep.
Do we have to provide our own hobby horse?
No, we will have rentals here.
Rentals, okay.
I like it. A stable.
All right, good. I like it. I like the idea of a stable.
But bonus points if you do bring your own, especially if it's made from real horsehide. You can go buckskin. You can be like Davy Crockett.
I mean, there's an AR-15 on. What kind of AR-15? Do you know?
I have enough Marpat if you want to fashion your own hobby horse.
Can Amanda make me a hobby horse out of Marpat? I don't have time.
No, I have Amanda in her own hobby horse training.
You're going to enter Amanda? That's bullshit. That is bullshit, because she's jockey size, so she's got an advantage.
She is jockey size.
So
it's a glow-in-the-dark AR.
Glow-in-the-dark, bro.
Is it glow? Oh, is it the one that he painted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
So it's all splatter paint, glow-in-the-dark. Right. It's got a sling with it. It's very nice, very nice. So we're going to have events where you can win prizes. We got a VIP package, SOEparty.com. It's kind of a big deal.
I can't believe he's giving it an AR-15 away.
He's badass like that. We're doing SOE tattoos. There's going to be 3 different logos you guys can provide. I pay for those if you get an SOE tattoo.
All right.
Left cheek, right cheek.
We should do a Vajanko auction.
We do have these very devices.
Can you fill them up with liquid and drink out of them?
What? Gross, dude.
They smell just sitting here. It smells like a fucking dildo store in here.
Dishwasher.
What?
Melt them right up.
We'll see you guys next week. Stay alive, watching me get paid.
Hey, you know what'd be cool? Hey, this is a great idea.
Back. Okay, it's back on.
You just created a great idea. you just had a great idea. Can you, I know you can.
Brandel has a service he's starting that will wash all of your sex toys and sterilize them for you. Is that what you're going to say?
No, what I was going to say is, can you find Das Boot?
What is Das Boot?
Yeah, we need Das Boot. We need Das Boot. If you get Das Boot, we could put the Vajankle in Das
Inside
Boot,
of it.
and you
Fill
could
it.
drink out of Das Boot Vajankle.
What is Das Boot?
You've never seen those?
From Bear Jew?
It's a glass boot
Oh.
that you drink out of.
What about the leg lamp?
Well, I mean, we could.
I see them now, and they're not the same. Like, I
No.
want one of the real size ones.
Yeah, Fragile. You got to get it from France.
We should make a leg lamp out of an actual prosthetic.
That would be kind of cool
It
because you
would.
got prosthetics.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. You know, it'd be cool.
It'd be cool if it was a World War I prosthetic.
Wait, check it out. Here's my idea. Hear me out, because I see you have them. You've got the hands.
Claw hands.
You got but what would be cool
I've also
is if
got
you had the
Forrest
lamp.
Gump's leg braces.
if you had the lamp that had a prosthetic hand on it, and when you pulled the thing, the hand turned the light on.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be even cooler if when I push the button, the hand turned the light on.
Yeah.
I built this thing from the bottom.